Hello, my name is Brian Overby. I'm with Ally Invest, and welcome to the Ally Invest Daily Service Show. Today in our show, our theme is money transfers, and we have Matt Weston with us, who is the head of product for Ally Invest. Matt will start off by highlighting some of the features inside the Ally Invest live trading platform that deal with the transferring of money in and out of your Ally Invest account. With that mentioned, one second here. With that mentioned, our viewers are the ultimate drivers of the content of this show. If you have any general questions about the platform, please start by putting them in the chat box right now on the right-hand side of the screen. I have to point out for privacy concerns that we can only answer general questions about the platform, and please do not put in any account information or contact information in the chat box. The goal of this show is to help out as much as we can in this open platform without compromising the security or safety of your accounts. So now I'd like to turn the reins over to Matt Weston, the head of product with Ally Invest. Hello, Matt.
Hi, good morning, Brian. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, I know the theme right now that we're going to talk through is funding your account, but I wanted to reiterate what Brian said earlier, which any questions at all that you have, just general topics about using the platform or funding your account or trading, feel free to ask away. That's what we're here for. And we're hoping to help in any way that we can. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and begin talking through what to do to fund your brokerage account. And at this point in the process, I have established and already opened my brokerage account at Ally. So the first step you'd want to do is go ahead and open your brokerage account. Once you have done that and it's in good standing, you can go ahead and fund that account. And again, I wanted to focus on the different ways in which you can go ahead and fund your account and then start trading thereafter. What you want to do is what I've done is gone ahead and logged in, and we're viewing the dashboard for my investment account. So you do this by logging into your Ally account and then navigating from your snapshot page into your brokerage account. And then once you've done that, you can see from the navigation at the top of the screen here, I'm hovering my mouse over transfers. And if you click on that, that's going to open a menu choice where you can actually go and choose investments. So this is where you're going to go to initiate a request to fund your account. Now, looking at the screen that it takes us to, what we see here on the menu on the left are the different ways that you can fund that account. And if time allows, we'll talk through as many of these as we can as to what the mechanics of those processes are and what you can do to get money into the account. If you look, we list out bank transfers, wire, check from another firm, which means if you have an existing brokerage account at one of our competitors, we'd be happy for you to go ahead and move it over, and we'll walk through those. You can also move money between your Ally Invest accounts. So if you've opened another brokerage account with us, you can move money from that account into this account if that's the way you want to fund. I'm going to start with the most popular type of transaction that people do to fund their account, and that would be by choosing bank transfers, and it actually defaults to this in the center of the screen. So you see you have a choice. You can make a deposit or withdraw. I'm going to start by just showing us what a deposit looks like since, again, we're talking about what you want to do to fund your brokerage account. Once you've chosen deposit, you see this select account menu, and you're choosing the account that you want to deposit money into. And from these test accounts, I'm just going to select one of mine. And then what happens is the screen begins to progressively display now where you want to move money from. So for me, in this particular transfer type that we're talking about moving money from your Ally checking or savings account or an eligible money market account over to your brokerage account, which is going to be the fastest, easiest way to get money into your account. So you already have a really good leg up on anyone else if you already have an existing Ally bank account. It's a very quick and seamless process to get money into the account in order to start trading. Then if I click on the From account, what you see here is listed 3 test accounts that we have, 2 different checking accounts and a savings account. And what you can do for this type of transaction, if you want to move it from your existing Ally bank account, is you just need to select the one, obviously, that you want to move money from. And then from here, you go ahead and just enter your dollar amount on the screen, the frequency. I should note here, as far as frequency goes, you can set up from here a recurring deposit into your brokerage account if you want, or you can do what we call an on-demand transfer, which is where you're just making a request to make that transaction one time for a set amount. So we do support both a one-time transfer as well as recurring. You can also even go and future date a one-time transfer or set up a schedule going forward to move money into the brokerage account. We move money into your account in real time during business hours from 8 a.m. until 2:55 p.m. Eastern time. So you'll see those transactions typically go through in a matter of seconds. And what makes this type of transfer very convenient for existing Ally Bank customers is that those funds are available to you right away once you go through and make that transfer request happen. You're able to use those funds immediately to place any trades that you want within your brokerage account, which is a really, really great way to get your account funded quickly and start trading whatever it is you want to trade in your self-directed account, or get money into, if you have a managed account for our robo offering, you can get money in as well and quickly get that allocated to whatever portfolio you set up. So if you click next after going through and say, for this example, I put in $2, a one-time transfer, it's dated as today. We default to that today. And again, you can choose another date if that's when you want to move the funds. And then if you just click next, it's going to take you to a screen where it just, again, recaps exactly what it is you're doing. This is your opportunity to review and make sure everything looks right, and then go ahead and submit the request. And by clicking submit, what happens after this, and I'm not going to click the button because I don't want to move money between the test accounts right now, is after I click submit, again, in a matter of seconds, you will see that money move over and be available to trade within your brokerage account for this type of transaction. Again, if anyone has questions and has joined the channel, feel free to chime in. It could be about this topic or anything about utilizing our platform and how to use it, or questions that you have if you're new to signing up with Ally Invest. And that is what we call, again, how you make a transfer from an Ally account from the bank side over to the brokerage side. What I'll move into next, and I'm going to kind of skip over wire and check for now, and I'm going to show a different type of bank transfer. What if you want to move money from a different bank account? You can certainly do that, and we accept those types of transactions as well. There's a few more steps within the process to initially set that up. So what you want to first do is, I should mention, Ally only allows you to transfer money from an account that's titled similarly to your brokerage account. So if I have an individual brokerage account in the name of Matt Weston, you're going to want to make sure that for even an external financial institution, whoever you bank with, you want to make sure that the titling of that account is the same as the brokerage account. We're required to make sure that we only permit transactions to happen that we'd consider first party, meaning that there's no real change in ownership of the person that's moving those funds. In order to do that, there's a few additional steps during your first time through funding that we need to take, that we do in order to verify and protect our customers that it is, in fact, a transfer happening from a similar account type. And what you're going to see here is I'm going to start down the same path that I did last time. However, the difference this time is that instead of just choosing from this dropdown for my existing Ally accounts, you'll see that there's this area right underneath here that I'm moving my mouse around, which talks through how to add an account from another financial institution. What we mean by add an account here is there's a linkage that we establish with that external financial institution. And once that is set up, you're able to then move money seamlessly back and forth fairly quickly in order to fund your account. It's not quite as fast as the other method that I talked about, but it still is a very easy way to get money over to us and begin trading. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what you're going to see happen here is you're going to see a modal come up. And now within this window, you can choose from this list that you see here of all of these different banks. We obviously show a variety of banks. You can also use this search function and start to type in whatever the name of your bank is, and you'll see a different list of banks come up. Now, if you want to select your bank at the external financial institution, whoever it is. I'm going to click on just the first choice. And what we ask for here is providing your information for that external account. And we don't store this information in any way. We just use this to help verify what I was speaking to earlier. I'm going to pause at this point. I think we have a question. Brian, go ahead.
Yes, we do have one question, and please put your questions in the chat box. That's what we're here for, to try to answer as many as we can in the short little time that we have. So we have one from Everything Good, and it goes back to what you were just talking about. Why do they only allow two? That's short and sweet.
I believe that's why do you only allow two external institutions to be linked up to make transactions? So I'm going to interpret the question that way because it is short. Part of that is, mitigating risk in a way to the brokerage. We don't allow any number of financial institutions to be linked up at a time. So we do that in a way in order to mitigate risk. What I can say is going through this process that I'm displaying, you're able to add an account, and you're right, you're able to set up two external financial institutions in order to move funds from to either deposit or withdraw them from your brokerage account. So we do limit it in that way. What you can do is you can always remove one and then add another. So we do have functionality that exists within, and I'll back out of where I am on the screen here within this process. And what this will do is it takes me to a different part of the setup. But from this menu on the side, you can choose manage other accounts. I don't have any set up right now, but what you can do is even if you're limited to two, you can remove one and then add another very quickly by going through the process that I was just demonstrating. But it is something that we do. We don't allow any number. We allow you to set up and link two external financial institutions, as well as be able to move funds from, again, any number of your Ally bank accounts. So that's in addition to anything you have already existing at Ally for any of your checking or savings or other eligible accounts that we allow you to move money from.
All right, Matt, I guess back to the overview.
Sure, and I'll just continue. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my screen here and continue talking through where we were and just get us back to the step that we were at. So we were talking about how to add an account at another external financial institution. So you'd come through here, you'd find your institution, whoever you're banking with from this menu or by using the search functionality that exists on here. Once you found them, again, you're going to enter the login credentials that you have at that institution. And this is, again, information that we're not storing anyway. We are just using it to verify simply that the name on the brokerage account matches the titling at that bank account, which we do to help protect you as our customer from any sort of fraudulent activity. Once you've gone through and done this, it is a very quick process where we verify that in a matter of seconds, and then you're actually returned to this same flow. And I'm going to have to reset the screen because I don't want to actually complete the entire process. But you would actually return to the screen after setting up that account successfully. And then on this drop down that I'm displaying, once you've gone through and done that, you would see the external financial institution listed below my Ally bank account. So then all you'd have to do is simply go and select that account from the drop down. And then you could go ahead and either deposit or withdraw funds, whichever way you wanted to go, in order to complete the transaction. And it's the same exact pattern that you see here for this. The only difference being is that the from account, instead of being your Ally checking or savings account, is going to be that from the external financial institution. So you would continue through the process and submit. I will say there are some differences as far as when we allow your funds to be traded using this method. For your initial deposit from an external financial institution, we will typically show that the money was moved and in your brokerage account if you do it during business hours in a matter of seconds. However, you will want to note that in order to use those funds to trade with, there is a 3 business day hold on that cash in the account before you can start to trade on it. So it's a little bit different than what you saw for the flow if it's an internal account that exists within Ally. We do that because these transfers work very similar to how you would write a check, for example, and it removes the opportunity where if there's any issue with how that was set up, meaning that if a routing number was wrong, for example, or if there was an insufficient balance, it can take up to 3 business days for that to actually come through as a bounce transaction, in which case we have the 3 business day hold before you can start trading. I will tell you, though, once you've set this up and funded the account and have an established balance, we actually do allow you to use subsequent transfers much faster. So you're able to go ahead and even move money from an external financial institution once you've established a relationship and make a deposit to the account. You're able to trade that in a matter of seconds once we have that established relationship and that first deposit goes through. So there's a lot more flexibility, but the initial setup period, you are going to see a hold time for that initially. So that would be how to move money from an Ally bank account to your investment account at Ally, or from an external financial institution to your investment account here at Ally, both of which are perfectly easy, fine ways that our customers use every day to move funds. The other one that I wanted to spend a few minutes and talk about is how would you move your assets if you had an existing brokerage account somewhere else? And one thing that I'll say that's a very common misconception for a lot of our customers is that you need to sell everything, move the money out to your bank account, then move the money over to your Ally Invest account, and then you can start trading with us. And that's actually not the case. We have very great functionality that exists where you can electronically request to move that account in kind. And I'm using some industry language there, but what that means is if you have an account at another brokerage firm, whoever it is, and you hold different securities within an account, whatever stocks, mutual funds, cash, you don't have to actually sell any of that. You can move those as is, which is what I'm calling in kind, without selling your position, without creating a taxable event, and move that seamlessly over to your Ally Invest account so that whatever stock you had just shows up in your Ally account within about 5 business days from the time that you do this request. So what you want to do if you actually have a brokerage account somewhere else is from this menu that I'm showing on the left, you're going to want to choose from another firm. And you see some information here. I will note that if you are transferring from somewhere else, a lot of times our competitors will charge a fee in order to move your account away from them. So if you're looking to move an account from someone else to us, sometimes they do charge a fee. We're happy to eat the cost of that fee. Whenever you're moving $2,500 or more, we'll credit up to $150 of any fees that you get charged. So don't be concerned if you are charged a fee. Typically, the amount that you are charged is much less than the $150, but we're willing to credit up to that for anyone who does charge those types of fees. Few things to note, we do lay out on the screen here as a part of this process different things that are important. Similar to what I had mentioned about how we need to move money from an external financial institution at another bank, for example, you need to make sure that you're moving things that are titled the same way as the account at Ally. So you want to make sure that the account type that you're transferring matches the account type here at Ally. Another note is if you have anything remaining in that account that is either a worthless security, a company that's no longer trading or bankrupt, or if it's a penny stock that doesn't trade on a listed exchange or is quoted on NASDAQ, these types of securities, you're going to want to clean up and get removed from that account at our competitor, at your current brokerage before you move it over in order to make sure that this process goes through seamlessly. So you can choose from this menu, assuming you've done all of those things, the account titling matches what's at Ally Invest, you can choose to move either a full or partial amount. For purposes of time today, we'll just talk through how to do this for a full account transfer. And all you need to do, and what this means for a full account transfer, I should mention, is that means you're going to move the entire account, any cash, any stock, any other securities, options, mutual funds that you're holding in that account. You're able to move all of those things over to us. And by choosing full, that's just going to move exactly as you see your account at the competitor. That'll just move that account exactly as it looks there over to our platform. And you do that by clicking the Get Started button here. And first, we're going to ask if you have multiple invest accounts at Ally. You're going to want to choose which of those accounts you're trying to transfer into. So make sure you choose the one that's titled the same way as the brokerage account that you're holding currently. And then you're going to click the next button once you've done that. And similar to the other flow you see here, we list a few places where we most commonly see transfers come from, as well as some of the most popular brokerages out there. You can also see in the search functionality, you can go through it and start to enter the name of someone else. And we would pre-populate the choice there. And you just need to choose who that competitor is. Wherever your account is being held, just choose them either by looking through the search bar or clicking on one of the icons you see on the screen. Then from there, there's a little bit more information that we need in order to complete this type of transaction. You're going to need to know what your account number is at the competitor. And then if you just go ahead and type that in here, and you see we have error messaging built in where we know how many numbers that should be for certain competitors. And then from here, all I did was click next after I entered the account number. This is one last chance review to make sure you have everything right. You can always go back and edit any that are wrong, and you can go ahead and click submit. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit on this because it's a fictitious account number and a test account in our testing environment. So if I hit submit here, you'll then see that you've submitted a transfer request. We then show you, again, if you do need to submit a reimbursement, there's a form you can complete to do that to claim up to $150 if the brokerage firm that you're leaving does charge you a fee. And at that point, within just a few clicks, you can move that account over. You didn't have to sell your positions. You didn't have to take any action on that account other than just submitting this request, and we handle the rest. We will contact them. We'll get it moved over. You'll get a few different email notices. One is going to tell you within a few hours that you've successfully submitted this request. And then you'll get future dated messages about when to expect that transfer to complete and go through. And then once that date comes, you're going to see all of those assets within your brokerage account here. And then they would just be displayed back on your dashboard screen, and then you can trade. You can sell any of your positions. You can buy stock with that money as soon as it comes in. Whatever it is that you want to do with the account, you can then start utilizing our platform and place any trades. So with that, again, if there are questions, feel free to add them to the chat. That's what we're here for, is to try and help with any general questions about using the platform. It doesn't have to be about funding. I talked pretty quickly through a few different common methods that customers fund their account. Again, there is a lot of different functionality that exists within this platform. We'd be happy to demonstrate how to do different things, how to use it and otherwise. So feel free to go ahead and ask away.
Right. So if you have the questions, please do put them in the chat box. We're starting to run out of time. It looks like we probably got time for maybe a couple of more questions. If there are any out there, let's see. Put them in right now so that we can address them. All right, we got one last question, it looks like here, Matt. Kids and Cars is sending in a question inside the chat box. The question says, can we send money via ACH transfer after the market has closed for the day and have it in our accounts the next day?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. That's a great question. It always makes me think of the Cars for Kids ads for anyone who's from New York. That's a very popular commercial up there. But yeah, so an ACH transfer, when I was talking through the electronic ways to move your money, I should note that an ACH transfer is just the terminology that means if you're moving money from another bank outside of Ally, that's how we're accomplishing that transfer, is utilizing that type of transaction. You're able to submit that type of transfer 24 hours a day. I will say that if you do it during business hours, which is from 8 a.m. until 2:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll see that go through typically in a matter of seconds. If you do submit it after 2:55, we still honor those requests. And what happens is that's outside of the processing window for that day. So what we end up doing is queuing those requests up and then processing them on the next business day. So if you submitted it today being Monday, for example, if you submitted it this afternoon at 3 or 4 p.m., we're going to automatically default that to go through the next day for you. And you'll see that when you submit the request that it'll show tomorrow's date. And if you go ahead and submit it, we'll go ahead and process it on your behalf the next morning. You can see the status of the request will show as pending. So we'll put it into that type of status until we can process it the following morning.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this inaugural edition of the Ally Invest Daily Service Show. You want to make sure you click subscribe and ring the bell. You get all the reminders for all our events here on the Ally Invest YouTube channel. And we'll be back next Monday with another edition of the Ally Invest Daily Service Show. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.